your head.
The first thing that you overlooked this aspect, Lee. This very critical aspect that took me out of the movie immediately. Samara Weaving doesn't need to get a date on like a.
Thank you. Oh my God!
This is Samara Weaving. We're talking about like
they're lined up at her door.
This is like a Tinder date that Samara Weaving's on. That's not
the movie gets an F. All right, chat. What you've all been waiting for. We're about to get into it. We're going to talk about Stu, and it's going to be interesting. Let me take this super chat real quick. Okay, what's up, guys? I really enjoyed this movie. I like what they did with Sam's character, and Ghostface was brutal. Thanks, Piz, for letting me know about Friday the 13th Steelbook sale on Amazon. Hey, look at that. There you go. That's what us horror YouTubers are here for. We tell you about all the deals. You know,
keeping an eye out. Keeping an eye out for you guys.
Keep an eye out. It's awesome. You know, all right, Stu. First thing about Stu, and guys, help me out with this. Why do people get so angry when you even bring up the idea of in every horror franchise, people talk about maybe a character could be alive. Nobody gets their panties in a bunch about it, but for some reason, I've had people literally literally yelling at me at their keyboard and saying, "Get over it, move on," you know, and just I'm like. It's just a thought.
Especially with Scream, a series full of characters with plot armor that survive everything.
If anything, this movie proved a point. Stu could be alive now, because if Chad could be a good guy Michael Myers by the end of this movie, then anything's possible.
They even say it. Mindy gives a line of dialogue that says, "If you believe he's dead." And that's one thing that I want to say about 5 and 6. They still have not confirmed in the movie, in a line of dialogue, that Stu is dead.
No, they have not.
I felt like they kind of proved that right when the I can't think of what the boy killer's name in this one, when the TV fell on him and killed him. They're like, see, so that can't.
I think that was a way to say shut up to some fans. I do. Yeah. I laughed when that happened, but I think the line of dialogue that Mindy gave when she said, if you believe he's dead, that has to mean that there is some question. Like
I think they just want the fans to keep talking.
Yes, they're keeping that in his back pocket, like that dead body.
Stu is my favorite Ghostface of all time.
Yeah,
but I cannot think of a reason for him to come back that would make sense.
I don't think there is. I mean,
where has he been all this time? There's just no way.
I mean, this series is so fan servicey. Like I wouldn't doubt that they would bring him back, but I think the chances are very slim. I wouldn't say never, because maybe they want to let 7 go out on a huge pop, because I mean the audience would erupt if they saw Stu. If the mask came off and there's Stu and he's got like some burns on the side of his face or something, people would flip out. They'd love it. But then I think after all that went away, they'd be like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Where was he at? What is he doing? How did he? That's dumb. I think
it might ruin him.
Yeah, exactly. That might ruin him. Yeah,
I'll tell you how we bring him back.
Let him go. Let him go.
I'll tell you how you bring him back. Everybody's overthinking it. I'm telling you, everybody's overthinking it, and they're thinking that you got to come up with this grand plan, and Stu's like the puppet master of all this stuff. And when you start getting into that, you can get a little bit convoluted, and it can get a little weird. I think they need to make it something simple. Stu has been in hiding for all this time for good reason, because he will get caught if he comes out. Something has to trigger him to come back. And that one thing that could trigger Stu would be Sydney. Sydney was not in this movie. Sydney's not coming back unless there's a damn good reason to come back. Sydney comes back because of Stu. And it's simple. It's a simple idea, but I think if they did that in part 7, they wrote it very well, and you got those 2 characters from the main movie coming back. I mean, hell, this is like Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers almost. If they could write that well, because hell, this movie, you got to admit, the writing, a little wonky in some places. They got a little crazy. What's wrong with getting a little crazy with Stu and Sydney coming back? And I think if you give Neve Campbell a good script, hey, this is your movie. This is your chance to shine, not like you did. Like in 5, you didn't really shine that much. We kind of plugged you in there. This is a new Sydney movie, and we could still have the core 4 in there, as backup. And they find out about Stu, and then Sydney tells them the legend of Stu and how crazy he was and all this stuff. I get chill bumps just thinking about it, if I'm being honest, but that's just me. But I would watch that movie in a heartbeat.
All right. Well, Lee, here's my pitch for Scream 7. I will say
Love
to
it.
your point, yes, I do believe Stu could be alive. I could be convinced that he was alive. It wouldn't be that hard for me. I believe Mike from We Watched a Movie said a while ago, clearly his family was well connected and wealthy. It would not be that far-fetched to believe that the family could have paid off the local police and been like, let us go. Let us disappear. Billy Loomis was the killer, whatever it might be. Say Stu's dead, whatever it is. You could convince me it's Scream. Suspend disbelief, whatever. My pitch, though, is you're talking about how do you bring Sydney back? How does this all tie back? I feel like the end of this trilogy and feasibly the end of Gale and all them by 7 is going to be, it needs to be big. I think you make Leslie Mocker, Stu's sister, the big bad in Scream 7. Not working alone. Maybe she is working alone, but she has all the reason to want to kill Sydney. All the reason in the world. Her obviously brother died years ago. Her son was killed in Scream 5, Kyle Gallner's character. All the reason these Ghostface killings, these issues surrounding around Sydney have caused her to lose multiple family members. It would be some fan service to have a Mocker tied back to Stu be the reason. They've mentioned Leslie, but we have not seen Leslie. We don't know a lot about Leslie. And I think it would be a good enough way to get Sydney back in the first place. It's a Mocker. It ties back to the original, and it's not something that you'd have to go, but how? I think you could do that, cleverly written enough to go, okay, there's enough fan service for the original movie. There's a reason to bring Sydney back. I'm on board. I can get behind that. That's my idea. I feel like that would piss the fewest amount of people off. Bringing Stu back for whatever reason would piss a lot of people off, even if they had some super elaborate way to explain it. You just still have people like, stupid. And again, this is Scream. Like Chad.
I think it would make a lot of people happy too, though. Yeah, some people would be pissed off, but I think you'd be surprised how many people would be like,
"Oh, I'd be happy!
Holy shit, it's actually happening!" Where's the theater?
How could you imagine this finale of Sydney and Gale and all them being any bigger than Sydney and Gale versus Stu freaking Mocker? Like,
and
what
then
a way
you
to go
got
out.
Kirby in there to mix it up.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god, it could be insane.
And then Roman shows up with a little scratch on his forehead.
No. Ghost. He's
holy
ghost.
Shit.
He's a Force Ghost. You have Force Ghost Roman and Force Ghost Jill, and they're there. Yes,
Sydney's seeing them.
I've been waiting for some Scream Force Ghosts, if I'm being honest. I mean, we got Billy. You know,
I just have a feeling because they built up the new characters so well in this one. If they were to go back to the original, it would kind of be like, I felt like, oh, this was leading up to nothing. And I feel like this trilogy, the killer or killers in the next one are going to be related to whatever the new characters have done.
Well, maybe Charlie Greer has the answer here, because he's saying, what character would we want Sydney to be paired with? So then you could tie her to one of the core 4, and they have a purpose in this. Sam, there's your obvious answer right there. Can you imagine that, having Sam and Sam's like, I need the big kahuna to help me out to fight off Stu, and she gets Sam, and who is Sam's fucked up thing in her head? Billy. And so then you got Billy kind of against Stu. Holy shit, I'm dying right now. Just
and kind of Billy
give me that movie.
Kind of at Billy teaming up with Sydney then.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird.
But it takes some good writing for. I mean, it's like the Freddy versus Jason, and they had like 400 scripts. It would take a magic script to pull it off. And it was funny enough. We're talking about Freddy versus Jason. The thing that won in the end was simplicity. You know, I mean, there were this crazy, outlandish scripts for Freddy versus Jason, but in the end, let's just, put it down to basics, nice and simple, little cast, and it worked.
I still wanted Pinhead at the end. I don't care.
Yeah, that would have been badass.
That should have been there.
Badass.
Well, but didn't Kevin Williamson say that since Stu was not in part 3, he is dead? He is officially dead.
That's what.
And then he said
Kevin Williamson did say that.
He did said last week in an interview too. Well, I don't. Who knows? It's Scream. I mean, like he's just like they all are doing. That's why they're putting Easter eggs about it in the movies too. They're going maybe not. Like,
but you know who's alive? Benjamin Franklin. And that right there will the money, the greenbacks, you can make anything happen with enough greenbacks.
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin's going to be the killer in Scream 7?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's Abraham Lincoln.
Man.
I was like, I'm so lost.
What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DDLive clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching. And if you want to watch more, you can go over here. You can go over here, click on one of those. And hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.